Hey, what's up good people, welcome to episode 15 of PWND. Today's episode is going to be a bit shorter than usual. Again, I'm sorry. And I will start off the episode by talking to you about dartsmithing. Now those of you who have been watching my videos, have been following me, know that I've never spoken about the idea of dartsmithing. However, I've always sourced my darts from external sources, like for example Atani, who's really good at dartsmithing. He makes 6 Stefans. And more recently I actually purchased myself a bunch of 300 FDL V2 darts. Now over the past couple of weeks I actually watched Koop's video on dartsmithing. If you guys have not yet, you should check it out over here. I think it's a very sensible and very comprehensive video on dartsmithing. That's his second video. He actually did one in the past, but this one is, I guess, the update. Now in his videos he actually shows you a self-made Mitre box, and recently, alright, so I'll just get to the backstory of this part. Recently I've decided to try my hand on dartsmithing, and I started off by actually cutting my FDL darts into the desired length of Stefans that I want. The reason why I'm doing that is because I can't look for Atani to get my darts anymore, simply because he's just too busy with his life and work and things like that. So he's already stopped his dartsmithing contracts for quite some time, I suppose. So I was losing darts, I'm running out of them, destroying them, and losing them in firing tests and demonstrations. So I had to find a way to replenish my stock of Stefan darts especially. So I came up with my own cheap man's version of the Mitre box, the same one that Koop actually made with metal. And I would like to show it to you guys, and it's right here. Let me get this foam backer rod out of the way. I'll get to that in a short while. So here I present to you Sykes' cheap-ass method of making a so-called Mitre box. Now what it is, if you can't tell, it's just a length of PETG that was cut in between and hot glued onto a cheapo cardboard base. Alright, so what I did was I just got my PETG first, and then I basically measured a length, the first half over here, for my desired length of a foam blank to be used as a Stefan, and then the other would be actually the normal length of a regular streamline. That was actually the length of the FDL V2. The FDL V2 was actually about there. So yep, and then I cut it out. Then before I hot glued it in, I actually put a dart through so I could make sure that the PETG was straight. Then I hot glued it on, and there's a little elevation between the PETG and the base, simply because I would be able to just run my knife through, or the pen knife or the X-Acto knife, and then hit the bottom, so I could ensure a full slice all the way through, a clean cut. So it is very important for you to have a straight dart, because you want this to be as straight as you can, because the end of a dart or Stefan strongly affects the way that it travels in the air. Alright, so yeah, that's one thing. So yeah, you guys can go ahead and take my method and go make your own Stefan darts. And so now let's talk about dartsmithing. So I've decided that I want to try my hand in dartsmithing. I would say I was quite satisfied with the way my so-called Stefans turned out from the FDL V2, but as of late I actually came across a thread in the NerfSG forums. One of the guys on the NerfSG forums, his name is Hanzo, that's his nickname by the way, his handle. He was having these new style silicone tips for sale. Now the original silicone tips were developed by Informer from Australia, but then came along a lot of improvements from there. You know how the community is, they take something good and they improve on it. So Informer's silicone tips, I think I think that I experienced the first batch. I had experience with the first batch, and although they seem to be pretty good, they were shaped in a pretty plateauish type of tip, and it was kind of hard, so it would make a loud smacking sound whenever it hit something, and it caused, I guess, a welt akin to what a hot glue dome would do. So the last time, in the past, I would not even consider dartsmithing, because one, I'm lazy, I don't have access to FBR, I am not good with looking for weights to weight my darts with, and I don't think I'm actually good at cutting and things like that. so I thought it was a time-taking process, and I just my mindset was, you know, just leave it to the experts, just leave it to Atani. But now I have to rely on my own alternatives and my own resources to get my Stefans. And so Hanzo actually sent me some samplers. He actually sent me a very short length of FBR foam, so I could go practice on cutting and making it straight. And he actually sent me some already pre-cut blue FBR with a whole bunch of these new style silicone tips. Now these new style silicone tips, I think they're actually pretty sensible. They're actually very soft, as you can tell. They're kind of squishy and they bounce off really well. I have not tested them on my own self. I think that they would not cause as big a bruise or a welt like the old silicone tips would, or any hot glue dome would. So I have yet to try it on myself. However, I have fired it off and done some firing demos or range testing, or however you want to call it, for darts with this modified blaster that I'm about to show you guys in a short while. And I actually filmed it down, and in one of the shots, well, the new Stefan actually flew, it hit the wall, and the tip actually broke off from the foam blank. Now the foam blank dropped like a normal foam blank would, but the tip actually flew all the way back and beyond where I was, and that was amazing. So that's how, I guess, how soft and how bouncy it is. So yeah, so if you guys are actually interested in getting these new style silicone tips, please go hit Hanzo up. You can hit him up on Facebook or on the NerfSG forums, right? So go ahead and check it out. So I was quite impressed, and since I decided that I want to try my hand at dartsmithing, I ordered a whole bunch of tips and length of FBR from him, because he actually offered a bundle. So yeah, it was cheap and it was affordable, and yeah, so just so you guys know. Right, moving on, I'm going to show you my newest modified blaster, and here it is. Ta-da! It is a modified Vortex Tornado featuring a Master Blaster air tank, a Lazer Tag Master Blaster air tank on the inside. So I'm going to just call this a VTMB for short, right? Vortex Tornado Master Blaster, right? If not, it's going to be too long a name, so I'm just going to call it VTMB. So as you guys can see, there is a pump, and yes, I already said there's a Master Blaster air tank on the inside, so that's what I did. I put an air tank on the inside. Now I have actually on hand a few different type of air tanks. I have, like, for example, a PWND, I have a 4B, a big blast air tank, I have a Titan air tank, I have 3Ks, 2Ks, and well, I guess I wanted to do something different, you know. Instead of using a Titan air tank, which just gets you insane ranges and insane power, which will get your blaster banned at wars anyway, I decided to use the Master Blaster air tank because, one, it's substantially larger and holds a higher capacity of air as compared to a 3K tank. You can check out these pictures over here when I actually took a couple actually of comparison between the Master Blaster air tank and a 3K air tank. And well, it'll be a waste for such a shell to hold such a small tank like a 3K. I mean, it's not that small, but yeah, it's relatively small compared to the Master Blaster. And so that's what I did. I actually just poured out the inside, and just enough for me to fit the Master Blaster air tank on the inside. I hooked up the trigger with the Master Blaster firing pin, and I've already hoppered it, and it's a non-removable hopper, but the barrels are removable. I mean, the barrel and the clip area are removable, right? And on the front over here, you can tell that there's a lot of rings, and those are actually created with different sizes of PVC, and the yellow things are actually just E-tape wrapped around so that I could make it a snug fit between those PVC tubes that don't actually nest within each other. Now the pump at the bottom over here is a dual action bike pump, and also a dual action ball pump, and the reason why I didn't choose a regular bike pump was because I was afraid of the pump stroke being too long. Now as you can tell, it's actually a pretty good distance away now. I'm feeling very comfortable with this shoulder stock. I like the length, but if my pump stroke was to be too far, I'd extend my hand this far away, and that would be very, very uncomfortable. So this is the actual pump stroke. That's it. So it pumps air both front and back, and that to me makes sense. So in order to fill up the tank, I could go up to about 5 to 5.5 strokes. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually 4 strokes. I could go 4.5, or I could go to 5, and then the air release is kind of 6. So check it out. Right. So even with such a huge hopper length of 6 dart capacity with a 1 foot PETG, you can actually see some of the compressed air in that smoky vapor coming out. And I would like to share something else with you guys. Now, initially I was very worried and very paranoid, because apparently the Master Blaster air tank had this firing pin which is very sensitive. If you were to pump air inside and shift the firing pin just slightly, you can actually hear the air leak out the back. Now, I felt a lot more reassured and a lot more relieved after Atani told me that his Master Blaster air tank had the same problem. So I guess the most difficult part about about this whole modification is linking the trigger to the air tank. So you guys check it out. All I will do is just touch the trigger just a bit like that, and you can actually hear the air leaking out already. So let's go. You can hear it very clearly. I'm going to just touch it, and then I'll bring the blaster nearer to the camera. You guys can hear the hissing sound. So that's just how much I touched it, just like that. Hear it again. Yeah, it's crazy. But then again, because of the way the blaster is made, I'm actually able to fit 2 fingers inside to ensure that I could get a very quick pull. Alright, not just relying on a single finger or a single finger trigger pull, but I can rely on both. And this, I guess because of this and the length of the shoulder stock, and the fact that I can actually hold the front and push it against myself, gives me the stability enough to not worry so much about pulling my trigger very fast. Because in a lot of application for air tank blasters, a quick trigger pull would mean it would affect your accuracy, but in this particular setup, it does not. I can actually just hold my aim steady, push the blaster against my own shoulder, and squeeze very fast, ensuring that I get a quick trigger pull. Now, the trigger pull to me is fast enough that the air leak is negligible, so it wouldn't affect my range that much. I haven't done an official range test, but I have done a firing test, so you can check it out right now here. Hey guys, I have the VTMB ready for the firing demonstration. I'll be firing it all the way down this hallway to the end in the kitchen, where you see that red object. That is the toaster, and in between the toaster and the white thing next to it, which is the microwave oven, I have set up my iPhone on a tripod. It's already running, and it's equipped with a fisheye lens to be on the so-called receiving end of these shots. So now I'm going to be loading up and preparing my hopper for this particular firing demonstration. And I'm using a 1 foot long hopper equipped with a PETG barrel on the inside, and 6 dart capacity ammo area. I'll be filling it up with these silicone tip, the new style silicone tip darts. I'll be using 4 of those. And just for the fun of it, 2 cut down FDL V2 darts. So the FDL V2 darts are going to be the first 2 darts that will be fired out of this blaster. So you can see the tip of the FDL V2 dart. Okay, so I'll be firing the first 4 shots down the hallway with 4 pumps of this dual action pump, which means 8 strokes or 8 pumps of air, so 4 full pumps. And then for the next 2 will be at 4.5. In between the 4.5 shots, I'll be squeezing the trigger so that no air gets pumped in as I reset it into the original position. So here we go. Everything will be fired off from my shoulder length, and I'll be doing my best to aim directly straight at the toaster. Right, so here we go. Complete miss because of the fishtail. So now it's 4.5 pumps. So here we go. Oh, shit, the dart shattered and the whole tip flew all the way back here. So I'm going to squeeze the trigger now, like that. So I'm going to pump in, so there's no air, and I'll release the trigger, and I'll be pumping another 4.5 pumps. So here we go. Saw the dart hit the end and it bounced all the way back here, so that's quite amazing. Alright, so anyway, that's the demonstration. Yeah, so the silicone tip darts are definitely outperforming the cut down FDL darts in terms of accuracy, and the FDL darts fishtail quite a bit. The only downside is that maybe because of the way I applied the tip, the glue on the tip, or maybe the way I attached the tip onto the foam blank, seems that the tip would explode and fly off the foam body. I don't know. Right, catch you then. Bye. And that was the firing demo. I have not yet done an official range test, and I don't think I ever will. However, I have done an unofficial one, and I can tell you that it hits about 120 feet flat. And that is up to you whether you want to believe me or not. I'm not going to do an official range test. You guys can just go and guess for yourself. You can estimate it for yourself. If a 3K tank can hit 120, a Master Blaster tank with a hopper setup like this should be able to reach about the same ranges. You decide. Okay, I'm not gonna do any range test to try and prove anything to you guys, but that is just for you to believe me or not. Alright, so once again, here is the modified Vortex Tornado with the Master Blaster Air Tank, the VTMB. VTMB for short, Vortex Tornado Master Blaster in, air tank inside it. Hope you guys like this episode. I know it's pretty short and I'm really tired. It's actually 3 AM in the morning again. I'm actually rushing some PowerPoint slides for work. Tomorrow I have a presentation, so I do apologize that I'm a bit loopy today and I'm not speaking as loud or as enthusiastic as I would. I realize that you guys actually like those jump cut videos where I do small skits, and well, yeah, I think you guys find it entertaining, and some of you actually say that I'm pretty funny, and I'm happy that you think so. However, I don't think I'm able to do that all the time because I would just run out of ideas and get dry really fast. So of course I hope to deliver, I hope to deliver good quality videos for you guys, entertaining hopefully nonetheless. And thank you for all the support so far. Stay tuned for the next episode. There's an interesting modified blaster that I have that I really want to share with you guys, and I hope that it's innovative and it spurs you to make one of your own. I won't say what it is yet. Oh yes, before I go, the reason why I decided to put an air tank inside the Tornado, before you guys start asking me, is because most of the time people who actually modify the Vortex Tornado just fit homemade internals on the inside. So they will either prime it here or prime it here, and that will require you to cut even more slots on the outside. Number one, I didn't really want to destroy the original stock look. Number two, because even by putting in homemade internals on the Vortex Tornado, I almost said the VTMB, the Vortex Tornado, you get a limited length of draw, and that actually means that the performance or the range that you would get would be lesser. Not very significantly, it still would get good ranges, but lesser than, say for example, compared to a plus bow or a pump bow, or another homemade like the Rev Shot. So that is the reason why I decided to put an air tank on the inside, because one, it's a very comfortable shell to me. Honestly, it's very, very comfortable. As you can see, I'm very happy with the fact that I can fit 2 fingers in the firing area, and I can actually hold the aim steady and pump it up, well, I guess relatively fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. I'm actually quite happy with that. So that is the reason why I chose to actually do this mod. Yes, I forgot to mention to you guys that I'm actually have these 2 zip ties over here, or cable ties, and this is just for, I guess, added security for myself. It's actually held in by hot glue over here, and I can actually do without this, but just me being kiasu. Right, so I'm gonna pump it up 5 times so you guys can actually see the vapor. Okay, so here we go, 5 times, check out the vapor. Saw that. Thanks for watching guys, have a good week ahead. Peace.